Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I review movies and television shows. Today I want to talk about Netflix's new crime drama, Rebel Ridge. It's about a former Marine trying to post bail for his cousin in a small town, and ending up in a conflict with the corrupt police chief. Jeremy Saulnier wrote and directed the film, which stars Aaron Pierre as the Marine, Terry Richmond. AnnaSophia Robb plays his local sidekick Summer, and Don Johnson plays the corrupt police chief. Alright, this movie is a slow burn mystery that starts with a bang. The opening scene is a great first introduction to Terry, his situation, and the corrupt cops. From there, they introduce us to the key players in the town and show us their allegiance. Unfortunately, they then slow down to drive home just how far the corruption is spread. We learn all the intricate details of how the conspiracy works, who's involved, and how they get away with it. During this section, the cops get away with a frustrating amount of villainy without consequence. It builds the audience's hatred towards them into a palpable mass, but goes on for a very long time. There is also a dreadful amount of exposition and endless side characters that don't add much to the story. You could easily cut the court clerk and the judge and save yourself almost 20 minutes or more of screen time. Through it all, the writers try to keep your interest by making the villains hateable and the hero likable. Terry goes to endless lengths to let the cops off light, and they just never take him up on his offer. Every time they interact with him, they slight him, degrade him, and do something that would earn any normal man a punch. Terry takes it all with grace, and by the end you just want to see him get some justice. When he finally starts fighting back, after 2 hours of misery, we get a little bit of catharsis before the film fizzles out pathetically. Up until that point, it was fairly exciting. It had a few good emotional moments, some great tension between Terry and the police chief, and a fairly interesting situation. However, after watching the ending, the story doesn't feel resolved. It also doesn't feel like any of the villains got their comeuppance. The cast did a good job of their roles, although they were playing somewhat stereotypical characters. There were the corrupt cops, who are a bit racist and come off as backwoods hicks. Then there's the bystanders, people who know what's going on but don't do anything about it. They're all spineless cowards that get in the way and cry about their families whenever pressured to do the right thing. Finally, you have the 2 or 3 good people that help Terry. They each get their own role and play out fairly nuanced characters. I was especially surprised by the 2 named cops. They did a good job keeping the mystery there. The big standouts of the film are Don Johnson, AnnaSophia Robb, and Aaron Pierre. Don Johnson does a fantastic job as the villain. He's condescending, he's evil, and you want to punch him within seconds of meeting him. Johnson plays off Pierre well to create tension and draws a lot of ire throughout the film. AnnaSophia Robb plays the only good person in town who doesn't need to be convinced or threatened. Equipped with a plucky attitude and a dark past, Robb brings an emotional performance to the table and manages to make a lot of the exposition palatable. Aaron Pierre plays the silent hero Marine. He's big and imposing, but always acts like a gentle giant. He does a great job of the dialogue, even the cheesy lines, and he nails the emotional beats in the middle of the movie. Production-wise, the film is well done. The visual journey is cleanly executed with good lighting, a few decent locations, and a couple of passable action moments. They did a good job of capturing the tension and the confrontations between Terry and the cops, and they did okay with the emotional moments. For music, they had a couple of original songs early on for flavor and to introduce characters. After that, they used a ton of instrumentals. The instrumentals focused more on following the emotional beats and trying to add tension into the film. The tracks are simple and quiet, but they do an effective job in supporting the story. On the negative side of things, neither the visuals nor the soundtrack were overly memorable. The visual journey takes place in a small town and has a limited number of locations. The action isn't that interesting and doesn't have much impact either. They just shot around some smoke grenades and did a little bit of hand-to-hand fighting. The music is the same way. The tracks work in the moment, but they're gone from your mind the second the scene ends. They're just too generic. Personally, I found the film to be a little bit of a letdown. It did a really good job of creating a situation that was interesting and filled with good emotional stakes. Then they dragged it out too long, didn't provide the desired results, and left the ending somewhat ambiguous. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 6 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye-bye!